I have lived in Australia for 2 years and I've never once set foot in one of their biggest tourist attractions, Warner Brothers Movie World. So I finally did it on my birthday of all days and visited one of the continent's largest theme parks, and what I discovered completely blew my mind about how I see Aussie theme parks versus the theme parks I grew up with in the UK. So here are the culture shock differences nobody warns you about before you go. And hey mate, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Sam, a British actor documenting my journey of rebuilding life in gorgeous Australia. So number one, the queues are longer than you'd expect, even in the off season. So we went in winter, the schools had just gone back, and we expected the park to be dead quiet, and we were wrong. Now I worked as a performer and actor at a major theme park in Osaka, Japan, and it's where my now Aussie wife and I met and fell in love. And so we're kind of theme park nerds, and we check the queue calendars online and target one of the best days to go. And this was saying it was going to be one of the quietest. We noticed that while the general park area, you know, where you walk and the streets and all of that, was relatively quiet, when you would get into a queue, not only could it be a bit busy, but it was moving much slower than busier parks that we've been to, like Disneyland Tokyo, Disneyland Sea, Disneyland Paris, Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, etc. And we noticed that some of the roller coasters were only running one car at a time. So if you're a smarty pants and you're planning to visit in the off season, don't just assume that the queues will be super short and super fast. They take a little bit longer than you'd expect, and I would try and prioritize the rides that you're desperate to get on closer to the start of the day rather than at the end, because you run the risk of time running out. But queues weren't the strangest thing I saw, it was the footwear, because number two, thongs and slides were being worn on roller coasters. On roller coasters. First ride of the day done.
Done.
Kate's first roller coaster of her life. Yeah. First thing I've noticed, a lot of socks and sandals in the queue line, which I find that is very uniquely Australian. Now I grew up in the UK and we've got some pretty sizable theme parks, and you will pretty much never see anyone wearing slides, sandals or flip-flops, aka thongs, in Australia to the theme parks, even in the summer season. Usually Brits are very over-prepared for days out, I would say. You've got the backpack, you've got the sandwiches, you've got the flask of tea. That's not just a stereotype. And you've also got proper footwear, because, you know, especially in the UK, you go to Alton Towers where it's like a big gardens. To get from one side of the park to the other on foot would take you at least an hour. You know you need some proper trainers. And also, as we were approaching to get on the ride, I'd hear the ride operators, I can't quite remember what they were saying. They were either saying, take your shoes off or keep your shoes on. I assume it was keep your shoes on, because maybe people who are wearing thongs, they just flick them off and feel the air between their toes. The first ride of the day we did was Superman Escape, and I don't want to spoil the ride for you, but that ride goes bloody fast, and I just cannot believe that there would be people on that ride clenching onto their flip-flops for dear life. And a quick one, I was looking at my analytics recently, I noticed that over 82.6% of you who regularly watch these videos aren't yet subscribed. So if you are enjoying these videos, would you mind checking now? Like I mentioned recently, it is literally just me who makes these videos completely on my own, and subscribing is the one free thing you can do to support this channel. Thank you. Number three, there were bin chickens everywhere. In proper Queenslander fashion, the ibis bird was very much on display in this theme park. Apart from the high-speed roller coasters that could absolutely wipe them out if they were flying past at the wrong time, it is a bin chicken's absolute dream. Think about all of the, you know, people finishing their lunches and all the chippies and, you know, classic theme park food. It's a feast for them. Also, very proud to be representing my bin chicken long sleeve t-shirt that day. So these bin chickens, they were roaming the park like they own the place. You think there's a lot of them in South Bank in Brisbane. Wait till you get to Gold Coast. I mean, the park is immaculate. It's so clean, but these bin chickens, they're trying to look for their chippies. Now, I must say though, as a Brit who's experienced British seagulls nick my chippies more times than I'd like to mention, these ibis, they seem way more polite. And yes, if you're eating your burger and your chips and you're kind of waving them about, they're gonna get nicked by the ibis. But if you're, you know, mindful, they seem to keep their distance quite a bit. Number four, snow cones are a massive deal here. I've kind of acclimatized to Brisbane, where it gets to like 30 to 40 degrees in the summer. So this winter season, where it's more like 18 degrees each day, I'm finding it a bit chilly. To a Brit, that'd be very warm. And so the idea of, when you're feeling cold, eating a snow cone is bizarre to me. Also, in the UK, we don't do snow cones at all whatsoever. They're very, very rare. We'd go for a Mr. Whippy ice cream, you know, with a flake in it. But here, the shaved ice and then all the different flavoured syrups on it. I actually haven't had one here yet. Okay, we're in the queue for Wild West Falls. And one thing I'm noticing is that the fashion here, Maddie, you said this, is very different. Gold Coast fashion is like summer all the time. It's like beachwear. And even at the theme parks, we're like all wearing long sleeves because it's like a bit chilly and you want UV protection. But Gold Coast people are like, nah, just shorts, t-shirts, sandals. But this was one of the things that made me realise how far away from home I was. Theme parks have been a huge part of my life since I was old enough to go on rides. And after getting over the crying on the Disneyland Paris Dumbo ride in the rain, I fell in love with the whole atmosphere and the excitement of amusement parks. That love is honestly what drove me to become an actor, because theme parks do very similar things. They immerse you in a new world. They help you escape reality with sets and gorgeous music and entertainment, things that make you feel alive. It's the exact thing that theatre, TV and film does, just through a different lens. So walking around Movie World, it brought back all those fond memories I had of walking around the UK theme parks with my mum and dad and my brothers. And it made me miss them, but in the best way. But what made this even more special is that my beautiful wife, Maddie, she organised all of this as a surprise for me for my birthday. And that made me realise that yes, you're gonna miss parts of home, but you found a new home as well in Australia, a second home. And yeah, it's just an absolute blessing to be here with her. Oh, hello, mate. Have you told them about the YouTube members thing? No, what's that? Well, it gives you access to an exclusive bonus video every month. Right, okay, but it's not an expectation. If you subscribe, that's more than enough. I agree. It's literally just for the people who want to support this channel and get all of these lovely goodies as well. It's quite cool, actually. Yeah, just click the join button below this video to find out a little bit more. Okay, cheers, mate. Anyway, number 5, the food was cheaper than the UK. Yes, accounting for the exchange rate as well. I assumed Aussie theme park would be the same overpriced markup that you see in the UK theme parks. We paid around 22, 23 Australian dollars for a veggie burger, chips and soft drink meal. So to get practically the same thing in the UK, according to this 2026 Alton Towers food guide video I'm looking at right now, it would cost you £15.50 for a classic burger meal. In Australian dollars, that would cost $29.65. So it's quite a big difference. Honestly, the meal was delicious and it wasn't too expensive. The chips were fried to perfection, might I say. And it's just a nice little treat for a special day out like that. Number 6, Aussie theme parks stay open through the winter. Now in the UK, as soon as the Halloween holiday season is done, and they do Fright Nights and things like that, the UK theme parks are shut through until springtime. I assume the biggest one is because Brits just don't want to go to a theme park when it's cold, grey and raining, which our winter season is a bit brutal. Whereas Gold Coast Warner Brothers Movie World, it's open for the entire year, which yes, the winter is much nicer here, much sunnier, but it's just really bizarre to me. And I love this because it means you don't miss out on going to your favourite theme park for half the year. I'm finding it bizarre that it's winter and it's like sunny and warm still, and there's like palm trees.
It's warmer than it would be on your birthday in the UK.
100%. And in July, at around this time, back in the UK, it would be raining and grey right now. And look at this beautiful footage. It was golden, it was gorgeous, the sunshine was perfect, it wasn't too hot, we could wear long sleeve clothing, and yet we still had a super fun day out despite it being the Southern Hemisphere's winter. But the biggest surprise wasn't about weather, it was about size. Number 7, the park itself felt smaller than I expected. Now you don't need me to tell you this, but Australia is a huge continent and the UK is a teeny tiny island. And yet UK theme parks like Thorpe Park and Alton Towers are absolutely mahoosive. Like I said, Alton Towers, if you get stuck in the gardens in the middle, that's a solid half an hour walk just to get to the ride. But even Thorpe Park, that was designed to be a theme park, and we think of it as a slightly smaller theme park because it's kind of on this island surrounded in water in the UK. Movie World, being one of Australia's most iconic theme parks, felt much more compact in comparison. Well, that's alliteration. But this is a major benefit. Whether you've got mobility issues or you just don't love having to walk through really long theme parks, I quite like the immersive experience of it, but I get it, it's not for everyone, then you can go to Movie World, and getting from one side of the park to the other doesn't feel like a huge trek, and you can enjoy your favorite rides without feeling super burnt out by the end of the day. Now, one thing that the UK cannot compete with was the entertainment and the performers, because number 8, the live entertainment was on another level. I expected the usual sort of theme park mascot characters wandering around aimlessly, but it couldn't be further from the truth. I did not expect the performers and the costume characters to be as good as they were. The costuming was excellent. I mean, not only did they have really niche DC characters out and about, you know, people like Green Lantern and Robin standing with Batman, obviously. I've seen other theme parks and their performers just being bored and just coming across like they're hating their job. But these performers, they were actually in it and they made you feel really immersed in the world, which was so cool. But that was before I got to the biggest live show in the park. Number 9, the stunt show is one of the best I've ever seen anywhere. It's not better than Waterworld at Universal Studios, I'm not gonna lie, but it was pretty up there. We don't have anything of this level in the UK, but this was the Spy stunt show, and the premise was there was a spy immersed in the audience, and then he comes out and he talks about how we've got to get this backpack with a code in it to save the world, and there was a villain on screen. And when the villain came on screen, I was like, oh no, is it just going to be like a digital show? But then all of these stunt drivers in these like fancy cars came out, were drifting, there were motorcyclists doing jumps and stuff, and I won't spoil the show, but as you can see from this B-roll, the action was amazing, there were explosions, it was a really entertaining show. The pre-show entertainment was brilliant as well, this performer was excellent, and yeah, it was just a really, really fun thing, and it made me realise the UK really needs to up their theme park game. Also, one thing Maddie said to me was that the rides at Movie World were actually fun and enjoyable, and in the UK, a lot of them, especially at Thorpe Park and Alton Towers, they are themed around sort of horror topics, dramatic thriller topics, and like every ride you go on is like, oh, there's this creepy person in the woods and they're gonna get you, and that's why you're on the roller coaster, stuff like that. And while she loved the rides, she was like, the pre-show stuff and the theming of these roller coasters in the UK, it's just really intense. So she said it's a bit of a relief to be at a, you know, what feels like a family-friendly theme park. So now you know the rules not to break in an Aussie theme park, but if you want to keep the adventure going and find out about all the rules not to break in Australia as a whole, go watch this video here where I tell you all about it. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!